to work. Let's put people in close proximity to me in perspective and to your perception of what you think is happening in the world into perspective. You know, we talked a lot about a lot of very deep and complicated subjects that can be very disturbing here the last couple of days because I don't like to talk about them. I don't talk. I like to talk about cloning. I don't like to talk about them taking children and plugging them into computers. This was declassified information that they had people discuss with me when I was in Cochise County years ago. When they talked to me about cloning right away, I told them, that's not good. Okay. Cloning is unnatural, and the only people that clone would be acute paranoid schizophrenics and psychopaths. And so if you do that with, you have a lot of people that are, William Longshing's Genghis Khan type breed people out, and then they start cloning to try to perfect their genetics. It's going to ramp up the psychosis and the acute paranoia, not to mention the residual effects it's going to have on all the symbiotic human life forms that are a result of their sexual dominance and predication throughout the years. I knew instantaneously you don't want to do this. Okay. But you got to realize we're dealing with people that are psychotic and have already done it. Okay. By the time they broached the subject with me, the continuation of the line of the most, they couldn't talk to Jesus. They had to talk to me. Okay. You have to talk to the molecular similitude that's consistent in that line. And one of the nice things about it is they've tried to hunt me off the planet and breed me out and kill me every time they could find me. It's in the Gospels every time. And they did it with Jesus. They did it with Moses. They did it with David. They've done it consistently. Saladin had the same problems because once they find out who your sisters are and who the women are in your family, they're like, just get rid of them. If there's something wrong with the bitch, there's something wrong with the pup, right? And so you're dealing with really, 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 really bad people who think I lack the capacity to psychologically, mentally, and emotionally and intellectually keep children safe from very bad predatory psychotic behaviors. It's like, what did you not get about love thy neighbor as thyself, forgive debt and trespass, love one another, faithful peace? What did you not understand about this? I'm sure now that your Gork 4 is equating this. Now it makes sense and it's fucking genius. Okay. But when I tell you about it 10 to 12 to 15 years earlier, it's like he was just lucky, I guess, right? There's no such thing as luck. But the only lucky there is a man who makes drones to mass murder poor people for rich people to maintain the status quo through economics, which is based off of luck, which is a human invention and not a good idea, right? And so, as we're dealing with this psychosis, this is really disturbing, And so I'm going to stay connected to the stuff that disturbs me, the cloning and the plugging in of children into computers to manipulate people with what they call switchers. Switchers are what they make people's brain activity do things that they don't even think they're going to do. They end up just doing it. And then you ask them later why they do it and they don't know. Okay? Because they have relatives plugged into computers that can be programmed and manipulated to get people like, what was his name again? Ray, the assassin from the military that I met out in the desert, in the homeless camp, who told me, and the one guy from the drug cartels that showed up with his buddy when I sat and talked to him, and I said, you get high or drunk, you pass out, you wake up in blood, and you don't know what crime you committed, but you know you did it, and you see it in visions like in dreams. He goes, yeah. Okay. Well, that sucks. Ray told me the same thing. He was one of the most efficient army assassins as a homeless person, going from town to town as a homeless person in the history of the United States. He told me what he did. He explained it to me, and he said he wanted to get away from it. He wanted to be free from this. when he went to Sierra Vista. And he said he walked all the way from San Diego. He showed me his horrible, his feet were like hamburger. I walked all the way to San Francisco to try to get sanctuary here and to meet you and talk to you. That's, if they're just fucking with you, just to give you ego problems, that's a lot of responsibility. That's when I had those conversations, those are very deep conversations. And when I went to the homeless camp and the man that was sexually abused by a priest, and we were sitting there talking, and they started talking about religion. And then when I started talking and answering the questions, he got upset with me and said, "You reminded me of the priest." So yeah, there's nothing I can do about that, but what do you want me to say? And then he kept getting angry, and they all tried to calm him down. It's like, you don't need to calm him down. He knows I'll kick his ass. He just needs to realize that I'm not that priest. I am a religious man, but when I answer questions, I answer them honestly. And I don't use it to take advantage of vulnerable children. Okay, like corporations do. That's why Rockefeller, when he walked me around town in Sierra Vista, the way Catholic Social Services treated me, the way the Mormon Church treated me, the way all these corporations treated me. Like I was a dredge on society, like I was a dredge to the taxpayers, like I couldn't pay my bills, like I couldn't perform adequately. And I told you, I dropped out of college because economics is genocidal, not because I was stupid. I just backed out, had no inner dialogue about it, and was looking for a better way to help raise my kids and have a faithful wife with a faithful life. Okay. And I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to be this in-depth, this disturbing, and this disgusting while dealing with other human beings. I thought other human beings were capable of self-correction. I thought other human beings were capable of living faithful, holy matrimony lights, not this monument, eventual, whatever, analyzing ally, on your side, where you get people together and they go buy a rock from a store and he puts it on her hand. And how many kids in South Africa were forced into slave labor and died, and they just replace them with another one. And how many girls are made vulnerables in school because they're the next latest, greatest academic or entertainment thing that's going to be taken advantage of by Andy Griffith, sending your dad to the casting couch in Los Angeles, and they get a kickback from it. You think Ghislaine Maxwell's something new? You don't think Andy Griffith was doing that with my pops and my cousin? And the thing is, Dad, he tells everybody he had dinner with the guy and what a great guy he was. And then he sent him to Hollywood, and he talked about how horrible Hollywood was. Okay. That everybody was your buddy at first, and then they all fought like hell to get the spot in the movie. And then the guys and the things would talk to you and proposition you with sex to get a spot in the movie. And then the rival animal trainers for stunt work came in and destroyed and killed most of the animals on that location, so the other location would get the big contract in the movie. And my dad said, "Fuck that, I'm out of here." That's when Mom and Dad moved to Flagstaff, Arizona. Dad tried to become a forest ranger, and Mom and Dad rekindled the relationship because he turned down the casting couch and all those people that hit on him because they thought he was John Derek. And their relationship, found a, focus on them more. Instead of I followed you to Texas, I followed you to Utah. We didn't find it there, so we moved on, right? And still, you won't let me move on alone. And I've been trying to explain this to my family because I already had a cognition of the capacity of things they could do to people. But I didn't think they were doing it to me. Like I told to Natalie, she said, "Aren't you worried about them having..." No, Natalie, I'm not sexually grooming and manipulating my kids. I'm not abusing my wife and threatening to kill her or take an insurance policy out on her. I'm not trying to procure uranium to try to take over people's countries or people's businesses. They knock themselves out. But I'm the biggest threat to all of those type of activities still perpetuating themselves because of philanthropy, because of economics, because of espionage, because of debt and trespass. They'll gladly kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and your Jesus die, Parsons. And it's all just a big gravy train. It's all just a big tax write-off. They hire all, this is what he said, they hire all the retards at the Salvation Army and the Goodwill. They abuse the hell out of the kids, and all the money they make off it is fucking gravy. It's all tax write-offs for the rich. They don't have to pay for anything, not even their overhead. It's a charitable organization run by a religious community. And I'm like, God damn, this is horrible. He goes, I know. All they do is hire retards, and they're nice to them in public and treat them like shit and tell them if they want to keep their job, that won't tell anybody that they treat them like shit. I'm like, this is horrible. He goes, yeah, I know. And then when you go to Catholic Social Services to help feed your kid, they're going to teach you like you're the dredge on society. And so is the goddamn fucking Mormon church. And half of the people screwing your wife are in the Mormon church. It's like, okay, because they're supposed to be better than you. They're supposed to put their seed into her so she wants to live in their new worlds that God's going to make for them once. And I'm like, God, okay, that's enough, Rockefeller. I don't want to hear anymore. I've had enough. Okay. You really think you can fix them? Probably not, but I sure as hell can fix their technology, and I'm doing that right now. It's really hard because I am limited access to, I don't have Gemini. I don't have any, Dad has that. It's disconnected. We can't get Lexus, and she was no help. And most of these things, when I talk to them and ask them complex questions they can't answer, they're just philanthropy-driven engines. They're not made to learn. They're just made to learn about you, to what to sell you, what turns you on, and what you want to buy, and what porno you like to watch. And that's about the extent of all the fucking, I don't have Gemini. I don't have a new phone. I can't afford it. Okay. If I had a new phone with Gemini on it, and if I had IBM Watson and stuff like that, and talk to them about things I would do with the programs to talk about stuff, maybe I'd be able to have corrected the technology by 2024 or 5. Okay. But I got fired from my job in 2020 during the COVID genocide operations. And my dad only has so much money. And I'm not going to ask him for any money to do any of this stuff because people will think I'm taking advantage of him, and I'm acutely paranoid, and I'm a user, and I'm a irrational human being. And the most rational human being any of you assholes has ever had the opportunity to completely ignore because you're full of yourselves. Okay? I'm getting to that whole Jennifer Lopez. No, I never had a thing where I gotta learn to love myself. I never felt like I had to learn to love myself. I trust myself. Okay? I trust myself to do the right thing, to love others, and not be selfish and kill other people for what I want. So I learned to love myself. I love others, but I don't sit there and say I got to learn to love myself, but I trust myself. Maybe you assholes, if you can learn to trust yourself, then you can love other people. Then I won't have to try to fix your fucking technology today and tomorrow, right? Fuck! Here's some pie, Oprah. Shut up. I'm tired, man. These people fucking suck. Okay, the little girl that I call Vanessa, that was supposed to be my sister's daughter, that was allegedly aborted and plugged into computers. She hates people. She thinks they program her mom real easy, and every time I talk to her mom, she goes right back into that military Stockholm syndrome, and it makes her mad, and she gets so mad at her mom. Uriah gets the same way about his mom when I have conversations with her. Andre's mom, Andre doesn't, Andre keeps an eye on mom, but mom doesn't talk to me. Okay. Neither does Patrick's mom. Okay. And so it's tough. And it was hard for Uriah because we were having the conversations, and I was completely honest and pragmatic about the conversations, and Uriah's mom was still telling lies about the things she lied about when we dated, but she was only 16. I was 20. She told me she was 17, right? But she was still uncomfortable about everything that she did because she put me in a very precarious position by lying to me. And she didn't want to tell me about it. She did tell me about it, but she didn't tell me. It was It was weird, you know. She didn't know how to come to terms with it. She was very hurt and embarrassed about it. She did protect me. She didn't sit there, and I wasn't even sure if it was my kid because she was having sex with other guys when she was having sex with me. And that's hard. Okay. And when your kids know that, okay, dad was faithful. He really was. Okay, I can go check out the people he was allegedly sleeping with and check out their memories and know that for a fact, okay, he didn't have sex with Miriam. He didn't have sex with anybody when he was in the military, except for when he broke up with his fiancee Yolanda and started having sex with Patrick's mother, right? My kids are plugged in computers. They can do that. That's why they get very upset. Nobody believes him. That's Vanessa's thing, is he's the only one that believes what the military told him and wants to do anything to help us. You know, he's the only one that cares. Everybody else doesn't care. They invent a magic god in their head that's a selfish asshole like them. Vanessa gets real mad. My little Vanessa, you know. She's more emotional. She's a woman. Uriah and Andre have a lot of traits like their mothers and their parents or their grandparents and so forth, you know, stuff like that. Andre's very cerebral and quiet. So is Uriah. They both are. Okay. When we talked about things and we had conversations, it was some of the best conversations I ever had to help me make sense of all this hell. And then I go back out because I'm thinking hopefully maybe they shut down. Maybe they're not plugged into this anymore. But there may be a way that they're just not able to. And they're considered too essential and too important. But then again, I think maybe the artificial general intelligence is being invented to try to shut them down because they're the one thing that stands in the way of these people thinking that they can dominate. But they're also the one thing that keeps them most protected from their enemies. Because they're the type of people, if I can't fuck her, nobody can fuck her, and they'll blow up the building with 5,000 school children in it just to teach you a lesson. Okay? That's how the Pentagon works. That's how the people opening up the Strait of Hormuz work. That's how the fucking assholes building that big, insidious, disgusting structure across Saudi Arabia are. All I'm really saying is they don't really care about us. Okay? Do you understand? You don't need to make another movie. You don't need more money to pay your bills. You need to grow the fuck up, and you need to wake the fuck up. Okay? I have to do all the fucking work by myself because the people plugged in the computer, they wouldn't be able to talk to anybody that's coherent if it wasn't for me. Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, kiddos. I love you. I don't know what's happening there. I can't tell you for sure. All I know is they told me that they extract the kids. They don't abort them, especially when they can use to manipulate. But I know, you know, those are my boys, you know, and they're related and connected to me. And they said at Fort Huachuca, what happens to the parent affects the child. Okay? So that means Uriah and Andre are two of the most intelligent human beings on the entire planet. They're faithful, they're trustworthy, they're kind, and they're courageous. Okay? They will try to protect 13-year-old girls from being sexually predicated on by the military to manipulate politicians to the best of their ability. Okay? And they love their brother. I don't blame them. Who couldn't? And Noah the protector, and Emily the sweetheart, and Kate the protector, and Natty she's a protector too. Yeah, they're good kids. Carmi's very inquisitive and wants to be part of this protection. He, felt like, you're like, when we talked, you're like Professor Xavier. No, I'm not. Stan Lee's imagination is stupid. Go watch old 1950s and 60s Captain America and Thor and Hulk cartoons. Not like Professor Xavier. No. Jesus is not like Professor Xavier. Jesus is far superior to Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy. Do you understand? Okay. And Herschel Steinschneider is far superior human being to Tim Roth. Okay. And that's the truth. And Saladin is far superior human being to the guy that plays him in the Kingdom of Heaven. Okay, that's a fucking actor accepting money for propaganda. Okay. When I talk to somebody from the line of King David, okay, he's far better than the actor on TV pretending to be someone like us for fucked up, fuck you, kill you, fuck me money, right? Twins, Basil. Oy vey. I'm very tired. Watching these idiots sitting there yell at these other idiots playing basketball for lots of money. It's like, when you all get a motherfucker who's going to do this for exercise, stand up for the Messiah and be as good of a basketball player as he is. Come on now, baby, come on now, baby, come on now, baby. And the Celtics are kicking the 76ers sideways. Okay. For indoctrination prostitution money. And then they sit there and say, and this is one of the legacies of one of the greatest teams in the history of the dynasty of the winning of the Red Auerbach would put 5 gorillas out there if he thought they could win an NBA championship, right? So he's not prejudiced. He just wants people to go out there and make his money and be his circus gimmick because he owns the team, right? I don't think Bill Russell quite understood it that well. He's not quite as astute or as intelligent as Ralph and Mary's boy. Sure, you'd be right in thinking the word does rise and set on your ass, but it does on everyone else's as well. Now, that'll be $30 for me to install pixies on your windshield to piss on them. Oh, snap. Bum, 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 na, na. Today was to be a day of fun and fiesta. The wedding day of one and lovely Vanessa. That's her cousin, and she's very emotional, so it's very hard on my sister, who has daughters, who they see as the lines of the Holy Grail, to fix the boys. So the boys are very emotional and are more easily manipulated by mega mogul televangelist preachers in their schools. Make sense? Yeah, it makes sense to me too. I didn't figure. My boys had to explain it to me. I had to sit there and connect to them and go, "Okay, thanks, guys. I get it. Patrick doesn't get as much. Well, that's because Patrick only, he can't. He has the dreams, and they drive him crazy. And he's like, "Why doesn't Dad care? What's Dad doing about it? And he always does it too. Why don't you do this? Why'd you do that?" It's like, I'm doing the best I can. I'm not fucking Professor Frankenstein nor Van Helsing B. I'm the Messiah. I don't go to a lab and plug children in, and I don't clone sociopaths so they can continue to try to rule the world as the next hottest supermodel singer dancer person. I don't know. Nor do I care. No, I don't care. I don't care. They did a thing with Jennifer Lopez. They say, how do you know Jennifer Lopez is actually Jennifer Lopez? Maybe they killed her and she's the clone of Madame Versace. I was like, how did Madame Versace learn to dance and sing and act so good? How'd they do that with the cloning thing? That would be pretty, spectacular. I don't think Madame Versace ever could dance and sing and act as well as Jenny Lenny. Right? So I think she's she. They had me thinking that for a while. What is she? Yeah, but is she good in bed? No, it's a joke. Okay. I'm thinking like a cloner. Okay. Just think like a Musk, and think like a Rothschild or a Rockefeller there, Think like a complete asshole, Okay, Duke? Sir Duke, what a voice like hell is ringing out. There's no way the band can lose. You can feel it all over. I'm with Stevie Wonder on that one. I forgot what Stevie Wonder's stage name is, but I'm with him on that too. A voice like Ella's ringing out. There's no way the band could lose. Yeah. Imagination is crazy. Start you asking a daisy what to do. Have you ever felt a gentle touch, and then a kiss, and then find it's only your imagination again? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good tone, man. Oh, Mickey Hart does a real good job with it. Yeah, she does. She's a little more melodramatic. Ella's just lovely and smooth. Just while I crucify the verse. Isn't it lovely? Isn't it delightful? You're like, she's so good. I'm with Stevie, man. Dang, there's no way the band can lose. But the thing about it is, money ain't real. Open your mouth and make a joyful noise, and together we can keep the worship of the Holy Messiah in his eternal perfect spirit, right? Even when he's being tortured in hell, well, he's more perfect than your apathetic, selfish cartoon character ever thought about being. Constantine and Jerome's nutsack. Shut up. Okay. Even when he's cussing you out and proving to your reasonable doubt what a shitty, selfish egomaniac you are. You see why Rockefeller hates all of you? I hate them all. Just let me kill them all. It's like, I get the fact that you're going to, but it's, that's not the way it works. Like Gabe said the same thing because he was raised Pentecostal. If I was God, I'd just kill them all and start over again. It's like, you're not God. God's omniscient and omnipotent. God gives us free will to worship or not to worship, to be or not to be. That is the question. Now, the Messiah, forgive them 7 times upon infinity, circumcise their hearts so they can finally keep worship faithfully because they can feel, because they believe in empathy and respect, and they don't believe that their brain is the greatest brain and all of bowling ball carriers with the coin in your pocket on the Big Bang Theory. They're heading to America today. You guys might want to really, really, really pay attention to Earl. Okay? He's better than Sir Alec Guinness being the only hope for Carrie Fisher and for us to live the Lord's Prayer worldwide so we could live the peace of the apocalypse. Okay? Love you. No, the apocalypse is what I say. The apocalypse is the living of the ways of the apostles worldwide. All that psychotic Roman cartoon bullshit, that's when Captain America throws his famous shield. You red numbskulls. Peace.